In the last vlog, I spoke about a certain sales call that I did, and then, how the two women were a little weird, and then how a certain senior management had a certain look, and, all of that. So, I wanted to continue with that section and talk about some more examples. See, why I have problem with someone saying, so I don't want to keep going after Narayan Murthy. I want to let him off the hook and say, okay, you did it, but the general population or the regular population or the larger population should know what is good for them. So even if somebody wants to come up with a garbage law or wants to say something nonsensical, people should shut him up the big way. So I don't want to keep going after Narayan Murthy and keep saying Narayan Murthy said this. I just want to give an understanding that when you say make the work week longer, which is 70-hour work week, that everybody is working for 12 hours a day, 996 culture. This is what that Kunal Shah from Cred says, that we should adopt the China's work culture, which is 996. You work from morning 9 to evening 9 p.m. and 6 days a week. One, if you are a chutia or you lost your mind, it doesn't get written somewhere in your face or your body. People can make that out only with the nonsense that you are talking. Then there is another, very big millionaire or some CEO, Indian CEO in US, who's saying that people should embrace working long hours. See, this is nothing but people who are coming from very low and poor backgrounds, and suddenly they are making a lot of money, and they are now getting so engulfed with so much riches and money that they think it's okay to talk nonsense. And this is not acceptable and doable. Long hours should not be the norm for anybody. People should work only for 4 hours a day, and then this world will move at the pace it is moving. And also, the world over population should come down to half. So, if India has a population of 1 billion, it needs to come down to half. Sri Lanka has a population of whatever million, it needs to come down to half. A world over, every state, every country, everybody, whatever is that geography, needs to come down to half only, and it should then stay there. And that is when this world will experience abundance. They will experience as much water, as much fresh air, no diseases, no viral disease problem. So anyhow, now I will take some examples from the corporate world when people start talking nonsense. So these are not just Indians who are talking nonsense. Money blinds a lot of people, and it makes a lot of people lose their mindset and start talking nonsense. Elon Musk says this world, every inch of the space should be occupied by a human. Everywhere we should, this world should get crowded and filled with humans. And then we can all go to the moon to inhabit the moon. I want to tell that fucking chutia that all of you bastards, billionaires and millionaires and CEOs, are going after consumption. More the people, more the money I make, more my services get consumed. But they can't say this, they can't talk about their greed openly. So they talk indirectly and start to talk ruins for this world. So when I was working with ICICI Bank, I had just joined. And so once so there were a lot of people who had joined the bank, and we were maybe just 2 weeks into the role or something. And sometime in the afternoon, I remember I'm coming from lunch, and there's this colleague with me. And I saw one of the new joinees. So he was with 15 20 years. So he had also joined the bank with me in the team, and he had a 15-20 year experience. And he was talking to a woman, and she seemed to be pleading with him in some way, and she had a child by her side. She didn't look, I wouldn't, she didn't look, uh, so I'll just stop here. I don't want to go into the detail. And then I thought that, and he just kept, so when this lady was pleading to this person who had joined new, with all of so many new joinees who had joined the bank, and he had a 15-20 years experience. So this woman who looked a little unkempt in some way, she looked a bit poor, but it's not the right way to describe it. I mean, it's just an impression I got. Not nowhere did I say this to anyone, but I just saw her and that's how I felt. And there was a child by her side, and she was saying something, pleading or something, and in a very soft voice, and I couldn't make out. And this man just kept doing this, but he was in a conversation with her. And after this, maybe, and I just asked this colleague who was also a new joiner. I said, Who's he talking to?" And he just said, Leave it, let's just move." So very quickly we just moved. After some days, I again see the almost the same setup where this person is talking to a woman, and she's also again seems to be negotiating, or asking for something, and he's just nodding his head sideways, and I couldn't tell if it is the same woman or it is somebody else. So I just believed that it must be his wife. And they are having some problems, some marital problems. That's what I took a guess. And then when I came to office, this person, the one who was talking to this lady, he was in the office and he started to say something to me. And I said, the time when you were down talking to your wife, and then I started to complete my sentence, and he says, "My wife?" He said, "She was not my wife." I said, "She was not your wife?" He said, "No, she didn't look like she was working with the bank, or and he said, "If any woman is talking to me, will she be my wife?" I said, "She had a kid by her side, and the way you were talking in a very intimate way, I thought so." I said, "I'm sorry, what's the what's the anger about?" And then someone just pulled me aside and said, after some time, that woman was a prostitute. I said, "Prostitute?" He said he's used to sleeping with women during the daytime. He's used to prostitutes. I said, "What?" I said, "Who can do this during the office time?" He said he's used to it. And mind you, this guy had 15-20 years of experience. He's coming from somewhere to the bank. He didn't last long. So wherever he was for 15-20 years, during daytime, this is what he was doing. He's so used to it that almost everybody knew about it. Someone said he can't, he needs it during the day, so he uses a prostitute during the day. These are stories from the corporate world. When do people develop these kind of personalities and become mentally and emotionally unhealthy like this? That during office time they're doing all this. When you make them sit for 12 hours a day for 20 years, 25 years, all their lives, make them only work for 4 hours a day so that they stay okay and they do some work in those 4 hours. By making them sit and work for 12 hours, they actually stop working in leadership roles. All they do is make a phone call, abhi kitna becha, and then they go fuck during the day, and do nonsense like this. And if people worked for 4 hours a day, no, there wouldn't be any billionaires because there's only so much work happening. Even if you wanted to get a rich and a high billionaire status, you wouldn't get it because nobody's working more than 4 hours a day. And anybody who says we want to replicate what is happening in China, I'll send you to China. I'm the entity called God. I will approve your PR, residency. Take everything, go and stay in China. Go. And if you also want beating, that we work from 9 to, Kunal Shah says that we should work 996 culture from China. That we come to office at 9 a.m., go home at 9 p.m. and work 6 hours a day. I'm saying whoever agrees with it, I will start approving your visa, PR, citizenship to China, go there. And if you also want beating with it, you say ki we want beating also. That we want to work 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, and we also want somebody to beat us up. Then I will approve that also and you can go to Iran. They beat you up for everything. They have a moral police. Somebody standing on your head for smallest of thing. Ask Kunal Shah if he wants to go to Iran. Or maybe I can appoint somebody in Taliban in Afghanistan that this guy wants 9 to 9, 6 working. 9 to 9 working and 6 days a week. And he also wants someone to beat him up. Whoever wants it can ask me, I will approve it. Don't create filth and shit in the Indian society. Don't ruin people like this with your nonsense. Get a fucking grip on your greed.